11 years ago, when Formula 1 went to the Japanese Grand Prix, a Red Bull Racing driver clinched their second Drivers' World Championship back-to-back from the previous season. And 11 years later, this year, this upcoming weekend, another Red Bull Racing driver can clinch their second Drivers' World Championship and do it back-to-back as well. Back then, it was Sebastian Vettel. This year, it's Max Verstappen. So, in today's video, we're taking on the 2022 Japanese Grand Prix. But it's 11 years ago when a Red Bull Racing driver could also clinch their second title in the same way that Max can this weekend. I think it's only fitting that we drive as that driver 11 years ago, Sebastian Vettel, in the Red Bull alongside Mark Webber as it was then. There's a similar thing to what we had last week in Singapore to what we have now at Suzuka. The fact that F1 in real life, we haven't been to Suzuka in 2 whole years. The last time was 2019, but an absolute absurd amount has changed since Vettel clinched that title in Suzuka all those years ago. In real life and in the game, I mean, this Suzuka is very different to the one we know now. I mean, turn 1, dramatically different. Like, there was almost I forgot, there was like a lack of elevation whatsoever that turn 1. I don't know what they were even thinking when they launched the game with this. And they had this, I think, up until, I want to say a couple of years later when they finally then changed around Suzuka. I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but I can't believe turn 1 was that flat. I mean, a lot of the circuit is very, very flat. This is a lot more elevated than it is right now in the game, and of course the handling model is very, very different. But I remember that 2011 Japanese Grand Prix very vividly because, of course, my favourite man from Formula 1, Jenson Button, won that Grand Prix. Vettel got 3rd place, and that was enough for him to clinch his second Drivers' World Championship. This weekend, the stakes are a bit higher. Max Verstappen has to win, and with a fast lap of the Grand Prix, for him to be crowned the world champion at Suzuka. And that is not a flat corner in 2011 like it will be here in 2022. So, in this video, I'm going to start from the back of the grid and see if I can try and power this Red Bull to the front to win the race in the same fashion Verstappen has to win the race to win his title. Right, here we go. 5 laps of Suzuka and 5 laps to get from P24 all the way to P1. That's a lot of cars to pass, but just like in 2022, the 2011 Red Bull was a monster. So here we go. 5 red lights, and we are underway. Gonna deploy some curves straight away, but take it easy also into the first couple of turns, because just not sure what we're saying about the AR's racing lines, where they're going to park it as we hit the back of the cucumber himself. And if we're very lucky, we might even close up to the back of Verstappen's now teammate, Sergio Perez, in what was his first season in Formula 1. There he is, Checo, up the road, still trying to get past the 2 Caterham cars and get past all the staple-on back markers, if you will. And now we get going onto the midfield. Barrichello in the Williams. Williams probably about around here anyway with Albon. And there we go. This is Verstappen's current teammate, Sergio Perez, in what is his first team in F1, in the Sauber. He was the tyre whisperer back then, and he's definitely carried on those skills for sure in Formula 1 these days as well, as we're now up into P14. So making good progress. Used a lot of curves though so far, and the handling is interesting. I always forget 2011 handling. It's very much go complete, lock to lock, and the game will do the rest for you pretty much.
Good job, nice overtake.
Okay, thank you very much, engineer. Not quite Jeff, or even Mark, really, to be honest. But we'll take it. Now, this is going to be tricky. Brake! Bremy, please, no! This is awkward. You can't be stopping the senior Red Bull team at making progress. Can you imagine if, like, if Tsunoda, obviously his home race because he wants to do well, can you imagine if he holds up Verstappen at any point, like if Verstappen for whatever reason is coming back through, or even just trying to overtake a couple of cars, even under blue flags maybe, and Yuki or even Gasly ruins sport, could be quite an amazing crowning, because remember, even though, you know, Honda officially left the sport at the end of last year, this, you know, it's still, everyone knows it's still a Honda power unit that's been developed and just frozen, basically, and Red Bull do all the kind of admin work of running it. And then on top of that, of course, today, Honda actually announced that they're returning onto the Red Bull and AlphaTauri car, like the badging of the actual Honda proper full logo will be there again, not just HRC, which is like their racing division, with a look to maybe, you know, extend a partnership and come back into Formula 1, maybe, you know, into 2026, but this one being a bit of a soft re-entry into Formula 1, so that'll be quite some spectacle for Verstappen to get his second title at Japan, the home of their engine supplier, in the race where that engine supplier kind of comes back onto the car fully. And I can't remember if for this year it's still the case, but the last time we raced at Suzuka, Honda was the title sponsor of the Japanese, like the Honda Japanese Grand Prix. So that'll be quite something as we now get past Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren, and we're up into P4 with 3 laps to go. We're going to need it maybe because Fernando Alonso has absolutely bolted up in the Ferrari in P1. Oh man, the blown diffuser not helping me out much there. But through sector 1, winding through with this very interesting camera that appears to be... It's almost like there's someone on the top of this car holding the camera and he's being sloshed about. With the rotation you've got and the kind of shake of it all. Come on, we're going to send it down the inside here. Oh, double move. What an overtake. What an overtake. We still got it. We still got it on these old games. And much like now Vettel in 2011, we will be inevitable as we start to close up on Fernando Alonso. And much like it may be on Sunday, a Ferrari is going to battle the Red Bull for the lead. It'll be Verstappen versus Leclerc potentially. Here it's Vettel versus Alonso. The Ferrari closes us off, but we're going to get the job done into the next brake zone. He's on the inside, but we're going to give him the room and then also cut across and get the move. He's still there, though. He's still there. The Wily Fox will use our curves to push away and get on to lap 4. And now, of course, we need to make sure we get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's what Verstappen needs to do. That's what Verstappen needs to do on Sunday to secure the title. Win fastest lap. Concentration. Nail that. Oh, lovely. No. Okay. Didn't get that. We went a bit too deep into there. Roll the car through. 1 down gear. See, the engine braking, not that amazing on F1 2011. Into F1 22, you can change down 1. The car will slow. Here, doesn't seem to have the same effect. Having to just dab on the brakes here for a very flat Suzuka, as we've already noted in qualifying. Then up the hill here. Really hard on the brakes. First gear. Very much an underrated gear on this game. And then listen to that engine roar. The engine sounds, yeah, they weren't amazing back in the day. I think a lot of people take the engine sounds for granted now on the current F1 games, with the turbo wisp and things, you know, just in general, the way they sound now compared to real life. I think, you know, back here, this was literally the first game I made some videos on, using literally a camera pointer, as I get that horribly wrong, wow. There literally is no downforce, it would seem, on these cars through 130R compared to now. But, yeah, you know, if you look back, I literally pointed a camera at a TV to make my first videos on this game. And I did, actually, funny enough, that's quite amazing. Funny enough, the first videos I did on this channel were videos like this. There were last to first challenges in the Red Bull, where I basically just tried to show off at how quickly I could do it. Back in the day. So it's quite fitting, actually. I returned to this game in a historic context of it being 11 years since Vettel clinched it. Now Verstappen could do the same. But also, yeah, literally doing the same style of video I did at the start of my channel. But we're going to do it, I think. It's a purple there. We're going to take 130R, okay, in 5th gear, but definitely going to maybe go a little bit quicker through there. Final 2 corners, and this will be to win the Japanese Grand Prix and take the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So this Red Bull driver will be winning his 2nd World Championship. This was just meant to be a small, wacky trip down memory lane, guys, and also just, you know, I feel like it kind of felt nice to come back to this game because of that weird coincidence. The fact it is the same scenario. Red Bull driver can clinch their 2nd title, which is back-to-back as well. I actually find that mad that it's ended up like that, and Formula 1 has a habit of sometimes history repeating itself in some sort of stats like that. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if Verstappen can get the title. His task a bit more challenging than Vettel's maybe. You know, Vettel only had to get a 3rd place without a fastest lap to do it. This time round, Verstappen has to do those 2 in unison, but we'll see. But guys, if you have enjoyed this trip down memory lane back on the game where Vettel won the title, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.